and pull the string when it goes in. So I would not suggest using this. What I would suggest using is called a humane trap. Now for this, it's a trap that will humanely trap your feral cat. It has two different doors. It has one up here and then one back here. Now when you set this up, you're going to want to put it in a well-lit area where you're going to be able to see it, the trap and the animal going into the trap, but you're not going to be close enough where the animal is going to feel afraid of you because you're so close. You're going to want to keep it safe from predators, and by predators I mean dogs, I mean other cats, wild animals, teenagers, whatever you think might get to this trap if you're not close enough. Now when you set it up, one of the main things you're going to want to worry about is sensitivity. The way this works is that there's two rings. You pull these two rings up, and you lift the door. Now back here, there's a little piece of metal back here. As you lift up the door, you're going to lift this up too. And what happens is they lock each other in. This goes all the way to the back of the cage, and there's a little door that's at a slant that's being lifted up. Now when the cat walks in, he'll walk back here to get to the food, or the bait back here, step onto this, releasing this and setting the door down with the ring so it can't push its way out. Now, when you're setting up, sensitivity is key. You want to put these two holes close enough that it's sensitive and that it goes off when the cat walks in, but not so close that if they touch the trap, the door's going to go down, because then you won't trap anything. You're also going to want to put the trap in a commonly visited area. And by this, I mean an area where the cat sleeps, where it eats, where it lounges. You're not going to want to put it somewhere that the cat is never going to go. For baiting, you're going to want to use something safe. Now, if I have a can of cat food, like this, if I have a can of cat food like this, I want to be sure that the cat's not going to put its mouth on here. And when it puts its mouth on here, it could cut it open. So I'm going to try to avoid that. You're going to want to put it on a saucer or a small plate. On a saucer or a small plate in order for the cat to be able to get to it. Now this is a domestic cat, so it wouldn't normally be doing this with the trap. Keeping it in something like this is going to keep this from hurting its mouth. That's what you're trying to do. Now after you put the food onto the saucer, there's a door back here. And what you're going to do is you're going to lift up this door. It lifts up like this. I'm going to try to keep my cat from getting to it. Lift up like this, and you're going to put the food back here. Now you're going to want to put it back far enough, and the cat is going to wander around a little bit, trying to figure out how to get to it. This is my cat, by the way. He's a happy, fat cat that was once a stray and needed to be trapped like this, so I think he's familiar with it. So what you're going to do is you're going to do that. You're going to place the food at the very back. Afterwards, you're going to wait. Now the cat might wander around a little bit and try to figure out a way to get in here and get to the food, which is okay, that's normal. Now if you see the cat getting close to the trap, you shouldn't approach it, you shouldn't run towards it or try to scare it into the trap, because if you try to do that, it's going to freak out and run the other way. The other thing you also need to be careful about is other wild animals. Now I've trapped raccoons before when I've been trying to trap cats, so you need to be close enough that if you see a raccoon coming, you go the other way, and you just kind of walk towards it and scare it off. Now, if your trap works, your cat will end up going in here. Get it too. I'm going to put this back here. Now, typically you wouldn't do this because you wouldn't want your cat to get hurt, but since I'm close enough, and he's going to keep following me until he gets to the food, I'll put it back there. They're going to try to find a way to get into this cage. Probably won't be able to. Now, one thing that they normally would do is come around here. My cat is not very smart, so I don't know if he's going to be able to get the hang of it. But they might circle around the cage a little bit, try to get to it. Eventually what would happen is that your cat would go in here and walk into the cage, get door comes down. We'll try one more time. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come in. Now again, you wouldn't do this with a feral cat. This is a domestic cat. But hopefully he'll get the idea. Up, there we go.
He's not stepping on it. He's too big.
Now if you did this correctly, which I guess he's not coming far enough.
Just hit the button on the
But
side.
if you did this correctly, then it would do this. And your trap door would go down. Sometimes it goes off, sometimes it doesn't. You have to be really patient. Now when this happens, he's going to be okay because he's done this before. He knows the routine. But when this happens, it's very important to cover up the cat because a lot of times, not with a domestic cat, but with a wild animal, they're going to be thrashing around. They're going to be trying to figure out how to get out of this cage and they're going to panic. They can throw their heads up against the side of the cage and hurt themselves. They can hurt you and hit their paw against it. And you're going to want to avoid that. When you're transporting, you need to be very careful to have a cloth over this or be using gloves. If the animal that you're trying to trap has rabies or any type of disease, you could end up getting it. Also, you're going to want to have the minimal transportation possible. The reason I say that is because if you're driving all over town, it's going to stress these animals out more than they need to be. Another important thing to keep in mind is that you're going to need newspaper because whenever you get these animals in your car, if they're panicked or they're stressed, they have a tendency to go to the bathroom. So unless you want to get the upholstery in your car totally run for you, it's a good idea to put newspaper down and then put the cage on top. You also are going to want to put your animal in a quiet environment. They're already stressed out enough as it is. You're going to want to try to keep that down to a limit. So, as you can see, trapping can be really, really easy. The only thing that you need to make sure that you do is use caution while you do it. You don't want to get hurt and you don't want to hurt the animal that you're trapping. You always want to be respectful of the animal that you have. I hope I caught your attention with this speech. Thank you for listening.